he called me a hoe because of it. And like this was an argument every other day. And it's like, bro, if that's how you feel, why are you even talking to me? Yo, party people, it's Ashley of SingleWomanChronicles.com, where being single is a beautiful choice rather than a miserable circumstance. And today's episode is brought to you by my book, Single Woman Chronicles, an Atlanta Love Story Kinda. Dating in Atlanta is a struggle, and Ariana knows all too well. She is a beautiful 28-year-old successful entrepreneur who has everything but what she really wants, a man. She feels doomed to be single forever after dealing with an ex that abandoned her and baby mama drama. She thinks God has cursed her until she meets Maurice, a charmingly handsome investor who sweeps her off her feet. She wants to give him her all, but doesn't want to move too quickly and fall into yet another situationship and be left heartbroken. After dealing with a city full of F-boys and men who don't take love seriously, how can she really know if what she has with Mo is real? Could this be a love story or a story of continuous heartbreak and unintentional dating mistakes? You be the judge as you journey through Ariana's Single Woman Chronicles. You can get this book series on Books on Google Play, Amazon, as well as Apple Books, and it's available on Audible. All right, so today's story time is a little bit different just because this story time is meant to help somebody if they are in a relationship where they feel they may be experiencing verbal abuse. Or if you know someone in a relationship and these signs stick out to you, let them know that they don't have to deal with this because it is not healthy, okay? So if you're listening to this and you know somebody, share this with them so that they can get out of that relationship because it's just really not healthy. And it leaves emotional and mental scars for a long time. So let's get into it. My first verbally abusive relationship. I've been in an emotional abusive relationship as well, but today we're going to talk about the verbal abusive one. So I was 20 at the time and I met this guy and we are going to call him, we're going to call him Michael. So I met Michael when I worked at a restaurant downtown and he came in with a birthday party. And so he came in and he tried to talk to me. My boss was talking to me. And so I ended up like, he was very cute. I'll say that. And so I ended up like walking by his table real quick and like handing him my number. And he like unfolded it and looked and I just smiled at him and I'm like, yeah, you got it. So we started talking like every single day. I was seeing him every single day. And initially he was super, super smart. So, I mean, super, super sweet. So, at the time, I think I was a junior in college, and I was working 2 jobs, and I was struggling, y'all. Like, I was struggling, and he was like my little moment of joy, like my little moment of happiness. So, I really enjoyed going to hang out with him all the time. And he was in, I think, a community college, and he was working at JCPenney outlet, I believe. And he lived with his sister and his mom, but he was really the man of the house because their dad like left, and they really looked to him to take care of a lot of things. So he had a lot of pressure on him. So at the time, now I can't say this, I was immature and I just was kind of like all over the place. But so a lot of the times I would say little things. I remember one time I called his school, like, I called it like, you know how people be like, hey, what's up with your little job? Or what's up with your little school? Or with your little business? And I think I said that about his school because he was going to a community college. And oh my God, I think I really like hit his ego. So I would like say, I didn't say it on purpose, like it wasn't intentional. I do not think like that now. So please, y'all, don't come at me with the rah-rah. I have grown so much. I was 20 at the time. I am now 33. I do not think that about that at all. So I would never say that today, but I'm just giving y'all a picture of how immature I was and just how I thought and processed things. It was very different than it is now. So again, in the beginning, he was very sweet. We saw each other every day. He was very affectionate. He was very loving. he would like come to my job just out of nowhere just to say hey, and just he would tell me I was beautiful, all of this stuff like that. But then like one day it just switched. Like literally one day it just switched. And I spent years questioning myself on like if it was my fault, because again, I know my mouth back then was like a little reckless, and just little things that I would say to him, I'm just like, did that cause it to trigger or whatever? But I just remember it went into a level that was unhealthy. So the first thing was, he asked me how many sex partners I had at the time. And I feel like that question in itself is kind of like a degrading question, because most men want it to be like 0 or 1. But at the time, like I was in college and like it wasn't going to be that. So long story short, I had more sex partners at the time than he did. And he just did not like that. So he would constantly bring that up. I remember one time he called me a hoe because of it. And like this was an argument every other day. And it's like, bro, if that's how you feel, why are you even talking to me? So that was like the start of the verbal abuse. So him calling me a hoe, like that really hit home, because I'm like, wow, he thinks I'm a hoe? That's crazy. Why are you with me? Was my thought process. And like me now, I never would have taken that treatment. Like I would never take that treatment now today. But then I'm like, this guy was so sweet to me. He was so nice to me. Like, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I can fix it. And I know a lot of people like in verbally abusive relationships, or just normal like abusive relationships, feel like if I can just get that person that I met in the beginning, then I'll be okay. But the thing about it is, you don't know who you got. You don't know if the person in the beginning was the representative and now you got the real person, or the person in the beginning was them and now you got this demon that's on them. And if you cast that boy out, then maybe we can get back to that beginning person, but you don't know. And in love, it's like, it's good in a healthy relationship. It's good to just have that norm, that neutral, that respect. But in a verbally abusive relationship, you don't have that respect. So you're constantly like questioning yourself. You're constantly wondering if the things they're saying are true, because you care about their opinion. You care about what they think about you. But at the same time, it's like you feel horrible. You feel bad. And you're just like, why are they treating me like this? So anyway, so it started with the whole him calling me a hoe. And then it went on to him being very critical of me. Like, he would insult me. He'd be like, what you got on? Yuck. Like, I can laugh about it now because it's been so long ago and I'm so healed from it. But y'all, like, it made me feel horrible. I cried so much with him. Another thing he would do stuff like, he would call me to his house to hang out with him, just to not want to sit next to me. Like, he would, if I was sitting next to him, he would get up and go to the other couch, and then I would ask what's wrong, and he'll be like, he'll give me like the silent treatment. And then he knew that would bother me. So like I would start crying and I walk out the room. And then when I start crying, he would come and he would try to comfort me and be like, oh, you're too sensitive. That was just a joke. Like, what? It's not a joke. Like, that's not funny. And then I remember being around his friends. He would deliberately try to embarrass me. I remember once being around his friend, and I think he told his friend about like the sex partner thing. And we were arguing about it because he brought it up again, mind you. But at this time, we had been dating for like 2 months. This was like the 6th time we had this talk about this whole sex partner thing that I can't take back. And it's kind of like, if you think I'm a hoe, then why are you with me? I don't understand. So he's in front of his friends and he's arguing with me about that. And I was just like, whatever, bruh. And so I'm like, he said something, and I was like, bro, you lying. Like, what are you talking about? And then his friend came out of nowhere and was like, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. So basically saying like, you a hoe because of your numbers. And so immediately I just like left and just ran off somewhere. But this would go on and on and on. And like, I can't give you guys a consecutive order of things because again, it happened over a decade ago. So I can just remember the peaks of the situations, but I do want to talk about the signs of verbal abuse so you can recognize it. So what I experienced was name calling. I mean, him calling me a hoe, condescending, constantly trying to belittle me and make me feel stupid at all times. Criticism, he would constantly criticize what I had on, how I wore my hair, like all of that stuff. And he would constantly accuse me of like you're not trustworthy. Like I never gave him a reason not to trust me, like never, because I've never cheated in a relationship like ever in life. So he would constantly be like, oh, I can't trust you, like nah bro, like because I already know what you be doing. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you go out all the time, like whatever, just all of this. So these are signs. If you're experiencing that, that means that you're in a verbally abusive relationship. But other signs are isolation and control, humiliation, threatening and intimidation, emotional manipulation. Like when people give you the silent treatment, people accuse you of things you know you didn't do. When people gaslight you, make you feel like you're crazy, but you know that you're not crazy. Like, come on, people. So we talk about mental health a lot, but are you taking charge of your mental health journey? You already know I talk about going to therapy and how my therapist snatches my edges all the time, asking me questions that I would have never thought to ask myself, asking me questions that I've pondered on for years. But I want that for you. I want growth for you. I want the best version of yourself, because the only way to reach your goal, your potential, your destiny is to become the best version of yourself. And let that begin with therapy. So let's start with Talkspace. Talkspace has a promotion right now where you can get $100 off your first month. All you need is the code SPACE. Yes, SPACE, SPACE. Click the link in the description box to get Talkspace right now today. Let's start 2023 off right. We out here. I already told y'all we out here. So get it right now. Click the link wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple, it's in the description box, even YouTube. Get it right now. $100 off. Like $100, that's a lot of money. Y'all better come get this. Come get this therapy. Come get this therapy. Yeah, I dealt with that at 20. And this is before people were talking about mental health or like being aware of verbal abuse. So I had no clue what I was going through. Now, when he came around my friends hated him. Like, they'd be like, why are you dating him? He's such a jerk. Like, they would literally say this all the time. And I'm just like, well, he wasn't a jerk at first. And I'm just trying to get back to that, person that I met. So long story short, if you guys tuned in last week, he ended up breaking up with me when I went to do the Disney College program. And so when I went to do the Disney College program, I ended up meeting the guy who really made me feel beautiful and worthy. And I know that was kind of God, like, showing me, because back then I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't grounded in God, but he was still in my life. Like, I always had like little inklings of him. Like, God was showing me, like, you don't have to be treated like that. There are men out here who are complete opposite, because dude was complete opposite of this jerk, Michael, right? So, when he broke up with me, went to the Disney College programs, ended up dating another guy. But then when I came back home, I told y'all, like, me and the other guy who made me feel beautiful, we separated. So it was me still trying to go back and see, okay, what's up with this jerk? Now, you might ask, why would you do that? Again, one, I didn't know I had gone through a verbally abusive relationship. Two, I was desperate for love and attention and affection. And three, I felt like I needed to prove to him that I wasn't a hoe. I felt like I needed to prove to him everything he thought about me, said about me was wrong. I felt like that. And when you're in a verbally abusive relationship or even emotionally abusive relationship, you feel like this person is accusing me of this thing and I know that they're wrong. I need to prove them wrong. But guess what? You cannot prove someone wrong who already has decided who you are, who already has decided what box they're going to put you in, no matter if it's true or if it's not true. So stop trying. The best thing you can do is exit stage left. Like, there's nothing you can do. And that's the unfortunate part about it. So I'm going to tell y'all this. The reason I would tell you, if you find yourself in a relationship like that, to get out immediately, because it took me years. When I tell you years to overcome the criticism, the name calling, the condescending, the beliefs that he put in my head. that thing, like when he called me a hoe, y'all, I thought I was. Like at one point, I feel like a piece of me even like being addicted to sex at one point when I used sex as a drug had a lot to do with that little voice in my head. Like, you a hoe. Sex is what you use as a drug, so you are actually a hoe. Like, it took me years, and I'm talking like 3 to 5 years to stop even thinking or agreeing with that statement. And still holding on to him, trying to pop back into his life when I get more mature and better, just to show him. And eventually, like, I let it go. And child, when I finally like grew and healed from it, and if you listen to my podcast from Tuesday, I talk about how God healed me from my brokenness, because it was really only him. You know, he actually came back around. You know, they say, the Bible says that he will make your enemies your footstool, and that he will prepare a place in front of your enemies. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm not saying it exactly. But he came back into my life, and it was so random. I think it was like on social media. And I'm like, you know what? I've forgiven him. I'm saved now. This is after I've, gotten saved. I'm celibate now, whatever. So he comes back into my life, and he's like, I want to get to know this new you. And so I'm laughing because it's just crazy how when you grow, some people will still try to treat you like that past person that you were, no matter how much you've grown. Don't allow that. Cut them off, move on, whatever. So he tried to come back into my life, and I'm like, all right, cool. So he invites me to a birthday party. When I get to the party, he's like, he's there with a young lady. He's telling me he's dating. Again, I have no feelings for him. I don't care, like, whatever. So he's there with her and whatever. So afterwards, he's like, hey, let's hang out. No, I forgot one part. So the next week, he FaceTimes me, and I skipped the whole part. Y'all, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm all over the place. It's because it's been so long, I can't remember. So I remember I told y'all before I left for the Disney college program, he was working at JCPenney. When I came back, I have no idea what happened in his life, but he started balling. Like, I don't know what he does. I think he was like in investing before, like, it was a fad, but he had money. Like, he was driving a Beamer. He lived in this really dope condo in like the East Atlanta area. Like, he made it. And he was like rubbing that in my face. So fast forward, when he came back into my life years later, he still had it. And I was like proud of him, because I know like his family leans on him a lot, and he is the man of the house or whatever. So I'm like, whatever. So fast forward, after the birthday dinner, after I see that he has a girl now, I'm not tripping. I'm not bothered. I'm so unbothered. So he hits me up on FaceTime, and he's at a jewelry store. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get my girl something. I want to show you this watch. I'm thinking about getting her this Rolex and all this stuff. So basically, he's trying to make me jealous. He's trying to get a reaction out of me, but there's no reaction to get, because I'm over you, dude. Like, I'm over you, dude. Like, you can test me all you want, but I'm over you. So I tell him, I was like, oh yeah, that was cute, whatever. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool, but I got a client coming in, so I'm gonna call you back. So hung up the phone. A week later, he's like, you still haven't invited me to see your new place. Like, what's up with that? Like, whatever. I was like, you come through. I don't care. So he comes over. We're chilling. We're watching TV. We're at two ends of the couch because, like, buddy, it ain't what you think. Like, whatever. And so now he knows my journey. Like, I've told him, like, I'm saved now. I've been celibate. At the time, I think it was, like, I had been celibate for, like, a little over a year. This is what it is. Boom. So, so he looks at me, and he's just like, honestly, this is the woman I always wanted. Like, the woman you are now. Like, you're so sure of yourself. I just love that. And if you guys listen to how God healed my brokenness, I mentioned this. And he's like, yeah, the woman that you are now, he's gonna say, it's taking everything in me not to try you. Excuse me? Dude, you can try me all you want. You're not gonna get nowhere, because I don't want you. Like, you're disgusting to me, actually. So anyway, so he leaves. A week later, this is when he tried my entire life, and then I was like, yeah, you blocked, buddy. Mind y'all, I'm celibate. I told him I'm celibate. You got a girl. I know. He calls, I don't know where they buying this audacity from. This man calls me out of nowhere talking about, hey, I want to have a threesome. Well, good for you. I don't know what that has to do with me. Oh, I was just wondering, like, if you want to do it. Dude, I told you I've been celibate for like over a year. Oh, you was for real? Yes, I was for real. I'm not doing that. I don't even, no. Oh, I just thought, I don't care what you thought. I told you that I was celibate because I am. What are you talking about? So I politely got him up off the phone, didn't yell, didn't scream, didn't get out of character, talked to him at the same level I'm talking to you, and I blocked that fool. I blocked him. So, mind you, my number been the same since I was 14. So, yeah. So I block him, and I don't even think I blocked him. Matter of fact, because I block people when I feel like they're going to interrupt my peace. But at that point, he couldn't interrupt my peace because he had no control over my emotions. So I didn't block him. But he kept calling me. He called me like every other day for like a month. And I did not answer the phone. He even sent me a text like, oh, I see you not talking to me. And I'm like, you are absolutely right. Because you tried my entire life. Why would I talk to you? So that was that. So it was just crazy. And then eventually, like, fast forward, he sent a message to me like a year later on Facebook talking about, hey, I haven't heard from you, since that incident or whatever. Like, I was really trying to get to know the new you, but I guess you don't want me to know her, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, you tried my entire life about the celibacy. Like, what? He was just like, well, I mean, back in the day, you used to say that you was, like, going to be celibate, but and blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I was 20. I'm in my 30s now. What are we talking about? Can you get from over there? He was just like, well, I still love you. Alexa, play Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It? Because who cares? Who cares? But it was really just, it showed me, one, he was never that nice guy that I met in the beginning. He was always this jerk that he's always been for 97% of my life of knowing him. Two, he did not care about me. He cared about control. He just wanted me back in his control. He wanted to be able to get some sort of reaction out of me, but I wasn't having it because I had no emotions attached to him. You can't get a reaction out of me when I don't care about you, sir. So that was another thing it showed me. And three, it just showed me that God can heal you from anything. He can truly help you overcome. Truly, 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 when they say the best revenge is living well, it is. Because a lot of times we want to get revenge by, oh, I'm going to show them, oh, I'm going to bust the windows out their car, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But for a person like that, doing X, Y, and Z wasn't going to faze him. If I bust his window, flatten his tires, he was just going to prove to himself, yeah, I knew she was crazy. Yeah, I knew she was this. Yes, I knew she was that. Or me trying to prove or like rub something to his face. Oh, yeah, she's just doing that because she still like me. The best revenge I got was being unbothered. Like, fully being unbothered by him calling me, trying to rub it in my face that he's buying her Rolex, by him saying he's going to try me and me having no emotion to that, by him asking me for a threesome when I should have cussed him out, but like having no emotion over that, not blowing up, for him coming out of nowhere talking about I love you, for me not running back into his arms, like all of these things, unbothered. Best revenge, living well. So I want to say all that. One, I just definitely, if this relationship sounds like something you're going through currently, please do yourself a favor and exit. They are not the person that you met in the beginning. They are the person they're showing you right now. Two, you can get out of it. You can heal. Three, there is definitely better out there. You do not have to accept that. Like, you do not have to accept this raggedy, rugged buffoonery. Get up out and get up out now. And there is hope to overcome. Like, you can get out of this. Like, I never, at 20, when I was dating him, or right after we were done, when I was battling the mindset that thinking that I was a hoe, like, I am now over almost 6 years celibate. I never would have thought that I could have gotten to the person that I am now, to the place that I am now. So it's always redemption. There's always redemption power. There's always time or a chance for restoration. So never sell yourself short or think that it can't be. So bye, till next time. So happy to talk to you guys about this today. And that is my story time for the week.